Are we ready?
Mhm.
Hey, so this is the Wine with Weeder segment where I invite beautiful guests to discuss their experiences with their child that have a disability or a communication disorder. Typically, this is hosted on a Wednesday evening with a glass of wine, but today it's on a Monday and I don't drink in the afternoon. Do you drink? So I'm having water with Weeder. And just a shout out to my students who made me this really cute mug and all these emojis that we experience. Isn't it cute?
Nice.
Such a cute mug.
It is a cute mug. Mine's just
I look like her, don't I? Look like her.
Actually does. That looks awesome. Yeah,
So just some apologies, in advance. I'm losing my voice. So if I keep my sentences short, and just take lots of sips of water, you know why, because it's starting to hurt a little bit. Okay.
Yeah.
So what we'll do, we'll just get started with how do we know each other? What did we do? How do we connect? And I guess you could have a go and then I'll add some info.
I don't have the greatest memory, unfortunately, but I do remember, I'm sure it was through Instagram. Is that right?
Yeah, so probably, I think I just had how old's Jesse?
He is now 8.
8. So I had just had my youngest daughter, and you had started your Instagram page. So that was about over 5 years ago. Yeah.
2019, I started Help You Cope page. Yeah.
Yeah, and so I came across them funnily, and you might love a competition that you were running for your Help You Cope page, and I entered, and I didn't win. But I just found it so interesting because there was limited availability of support groups with children on the spectrum. And I found it just a different avenue. I was like, oh, what's this chick up to? What's she doing? And it was really engaging. And then we just connected that way, didn't we?
Yeah, that's right. We connected through there and built a relationship and got to know each other, and then found out we're connected through other people, and just,
Yeah.
And it just
everyone knows
built
everyone.
On that. Yeah.
Yeah. And you have, and just a bit of gratitude to you. You've always supported me now with the business and just growing, and we've just connected even more since then.
Yes. Yeah, no, we have.
Yeah.
So, yeah. No, it's been great.
So I guess the purpose of today's conversation is just to start off with, I guess, when your son Jesse was diagnosed with autism, and then I guess how you felt in the moment, and then why you developed the support network that you have that's successfully grown, and what that offers for other families in a similar situation as you.
Sure, yeah. So originally...
So tell us about yourself first.
Okay, yeah. So as in when we received the diagnosis and
Yeah.
Okay, so right back from the beginning of the journey, we're rewinding back to 2017. End of 2017 is actually when we received the diagnosis. So basically what happened is I've got
How old
2
was Jesse?
lovely boys.
Oh, yeah.
So one's now 11, Jesse's now 8. But back then, I had a 3-year-old, which was my eldest, and then Jesse was he was about 3 when he was born. But when this diagnosis happened, my eldest was nearly 5, and Jesse was nearly 2. So I never noticed anything, but my husband is very observant. And what happened was that Jesse was very bubbly. He was starting to babble and really his personality was really coming out. And then all of a sudden, gradually, what started happening, or actually happened quite quickly, just before he turned 2, my husband noticed that he started regressing. So the way he noticed this was all of a sudden his emotions stopped. So he wouldn't be laughing or showing any emotion, or notice when his dad would come home from work, because I was at home with him. So I was with him all the time. But my husband noticed when he got home from work, he's like, how come he's not looking at me or, excited like he usually is when I get home? So he noticed a difference there with his emotions regressing, and also that he wasn't noticing things. It's like he all of a sudden went into his own world. And that's how he noticed. My husband really noticed that, and I didn't really take notice because I was always with him. And yeah, so basically he withdrew, and he said something's up, and we just knew a tiny bit about autism, not much. So my husband said, look, I think he might, you know, be on the spectrum. And I said, okay. We made an appointment with a pediatrician. We said we'll get it checked out, and just to make sure, you know. So that was all well and fine. And then we made the appointment, went along, and it's funny because we were actually expecting the doctor to say, yes, you know, your child's on the spectrum, because we knew some of the signs, but not much. And what happened was we went together to the appointment with my youngest, and what they do is a series of questions and surveys for the parent, because yeah, basically there's no test. It's not like a blood test. It's not, you know, in the day where it shows up in the blood test. It's basically more neuro, what do you call it? Like a
neurological.
Yeah,
Even developmental.
Yeah, developmental. Yeah. So basically, yeah. So what happened was she did that basically, like she's seen us. It was a pediatrician, but she's seen us only for you never met Jesse before, never met us before, and literally just did a survey and watched him while she had some books on the floor and just asked him to do things, and was noticing. And within, we'll say 30 minutes or 40 minutes, we had a diagnosis, and she basically said he is on the spectrum, and not only is he on the spectrum, so there's levels 1, 2, and 3, and for them that is, one is high functioning, just mild, then there's medium, and then there's high, high needs, like really high needs, level 3. So she turned around and said he's got autism, which we're expecting, and then when she turned around and said level 3, which is the highest, this was extremely shocking for me, because I did not think or expect that he would be on the highest level, because I knew that there was something up, and I'm like, what, the highest level? Like back then, like it was a big shock for us, especially me, because I did not expect that. Straight away, your mind starts wandering. What does this mean for Jesse? What does it mean for us? What kind of supports do we need? And how is he going to be perceived in this world? That was my biggest worry. Not that, you know, he would be different. It would more the judgment. Like I straight away started, my heart broke for him, thinking I can't handle that someone will look at him differently or think of him any less. That was my biggest worry. Yeah, so it was really hard. I was extremely emotional, shocked. Like I said, we were expecting it, but when you get that confirmation, sometimes everyone's different. There's some people that are really happy to get that diagnosis, because then they say, you know, now I know why they do this or why they do that. Yeah, the answer. We know what supports to get, but we were so lost because we didn't know much about autism, and also didn't know where to begin with supports. So it was a shock for us.
Can I ask, did the pediatrician say to you, this is what we're suspecting? Did they suggest let's go get a speech pathology assessment or even an occupational therapy assessment to have a whole multidisciplinary approach, or they just based it on their observations and just went from there? And how did you feel with just that quick? How did you feel just after that? Just that, rather having another opinion to support that idea or the diagnosis?
Yeah, so that was the first place we went to, and we didn't even think to get a second or third opinion, because we think, you know, pediatrician knows best, and everyone, you know, people referred us to that one, up there. We didn't even know what a speech pathologist's job or role was at that stage, because we were so new to all this. So you go to the doctors, and they basically say, your child has this diagnosis, and for her, we're just another number. Every doctor's different, but for this doctor, we didn't have a great experience. I'm still scarred from that experience, because it was obviously when you're in that state of shock,
abrupt.
Very abrupt. Yes. So it was very abrupt, and it was very just surprising for us. And I felt like there was no empathy at all from this doctor. So it was basically like, this is what your child has, here's the paperwork, literally scribbled, and we're like, where do we go? What do we do? This
where do you go?
Like lost people. What do we do? We were just like in shock. And then she more about what do we do? Where do we go from here? Like we had 1,000 questions, and she basically scribbled something. I couldn't even understand her writing on this paper quickly. And I got to reception, and I said, I don't understand this writing. Can you please tell me what this is? Because she just rumbled through it so quickly, and I just didn't know what she was talking about. And we
How
just
long was the
wanted to know
session?
where to go, what to do. I don't know, maybe 30, 40 minutes, but the end of it was so rushed. And that was when she told us, he's got this diagnosis. Oh, yeah, you can go here, there. I don't even know if she told us about NDIS, but
just like to say, did she offer? Yeah.
Nothing. There was no counseling or offering us to go to a counselor or someone
Mm.
where, we could even talk to someone. And there was nothing where she'd say, like, you can go to this place to get more information. Nothing. It
Mm.
was literally like, he's got this diagnosis, oh, yeah, you can look for speech or whatever. Like she said, you can go to therapies and that. But we had nowhere to turn, no information, and had no idea.
I find it so
So,
interesting that she said, you can go to speech therapy, you can
yeah,
go to occupational therapy.
yeah,
It's like as if the option is yours, but rather, well,
yeah,
because your child is level 3, it's highly
yeah,
likely that he will need communication support and occupational support.
that's right.
And I guess even understanding the financial aspect, well, here's the diagnosis. Let's start the NDIS process rather than giving you a
Oh,
bulk of
yeah.
information. Yeah. And did you give the pediatrician feedback to say, hey, I don't like your bedside manner. This is how I'm feeling. It's quite disgusting.
At the time, my emotions were so high,
Yeah.
and I was so overwhelmed, to be honest, with the news, because I wasn't expecting,
Level
even though I was
3.
expecting a diagnosis, but not the level and what it means for us or Jesse. So when that
Yeah.
happened, I was so overwhelmed. I couldn't speak, to be honest. I cried from the
Mm.
moment I got in the car all the way home. I was a mess. I was a complete mess. Didn't tell anyone. My husband and I, not because it was a secret, not because we don't want anyone to know, we literally couldn't speak about it. We kept it to ourselves, and it wasn't even like
Mm.
ashamed or anything, but it was more, like I said, worrying what people will think of or see him as, and I
Mm.
just did not want anyone to think, oh, he has this label, like, oh, he's got autism, oh, he's different, he's
Different.
weird, or I don't want anyone to think of him like that.
Mm.
And that
Mm.
was what was breaking me. And I thought, I can't tell anyone. We couldn't tell family. We didn't speak about
Was
it
that
for a whole
also, do
year.
you think your background and your culture played a part on that too? I guess because my
Mm.
background, I'm Lebanese, and
Yeah.
there
Middle
there's
Eastern,
that
yeah.
quite the Middle Easterns where they're, I don't know the word to say, but more like they're very quick to judge. They're very quick to
Quick
judge,
to judge,
and
uneducated.
they develop a stigma straight away, and they label
100%, yeah.
immediately. Yeah, yeah, I get
Label
that. I
and
get
think
that.
of them in a certain way, and also because they don't understand, they tell you the wrong information, like, oh, he'll
Mm.
get better as long as he speaks, or as soon as he speaks he'll be fine. I still
Yeah,
get that
yeah,
from
it's
some
not about
family that
yeah,
don't understand. And I
yeah,
just say,
yeah.
okay, like, I don't even bother explaining more, because in the past I did, many times. But if in their world that makes them happy to believe that, that's fine. I don't want to take that away from them,
Yeah, yeah.
because they love Jessie so much, and for them that gives them a bit of comfort. That's
Mm,
fine. But I know the truth, and I know what it means, and I know, what I'm happy with, what Jesse's happy with, and what's really happening. So yeah, so you're
mm.
right. There is that,
Culture as attachment,
uneducated
yeah.
mind. Yeah,
So you leave the pediatrician
yeah,
incredibly overwhelmed,
yeah,
scared, for yourself, but also for Jesse. And then you're like,
yeah.
okay, what path do we take now? Did you just go to Google and type in speech, or were you told about NDIS through other people, or what was your first point of call?
So yeah, I didn't know much. I didn't know anyone that had a child on the spectrum, to be
Mm,
honest, that I could even talk to. And so it was a very alone journey, because you, first of all, don't even tell people, because like I said, you're just so overwhelmed. You
mm,
can't talk about it because you'll get emotional, and you don't know. And then I just felt there was no one to turn to. I did Google a lot. Now
mm.
with Google, the problem is you will Google, and obviously just whoever's got the SEO, the best SEO
Yeah,
comes up, not the best option for me, not the closest. I'll get, therapies that were coming up in Alexandria, and I'm in Southwest
yeah,
Sydney, nowhere near me.
yeah,
So that doesn't even work. If the best thing is probably finding out through people, like, like locally, or
yeah.
through word of mouth, because anything can come up. I don't know if they're great, or, obviously there's reviews, but I
Mm,
did Google. I did, and then I can't remember if I found some local services that were able to help me.
mm,
But it was a very, very lonely journey, and to be honest, over time, I slowly learnt about services, and
mm.
found people that,
Trial and
and I'll
error.
go into my, yeah, and then I created a page, and I'll speak about that soon. But that's the way I connected more with people, to be honest, and got more
Mm,
information.
mm. So I'm assuming you straight away access speech therapy, and and I'll post about this later this week. But the journey is quite long, and quite timely. And then over time,
Yeah.
the speech path might say, "Oh, I think he might need occupational therapy to address his sensory
Mm,
regulation, or
yeah.
something else." In your and you're in your mind thinking, oh, another service I have to access. And then the
Yeah.
occupational therapist says, oh, you need to do this. So your cup's already full, and then they just keep bombarding you with additional tasks that you need to do. How did you feel you managed that load on top of feeling all the emotions that you were feeling and carrying with you since the diagnosis?
Yeah, so what happened with me, and I find a lot with carers now, because I see and speak with a lot of carers, is at the beginning when you get told this, or you find out what your child's diagnosis is and what support they need, what you automatically start doing and feel like you have to do is basically find every single therapy in town that will help them, and do it all at once. That's how you feel. So we thought speech and OT was like a must. Like, we got told speech and OT, so we're like, right, straight away, get him onto speech, get him onto OT, and whatever else. And at that stage, so at that beginning stage, and I'm sure many carers are the same, right at the beginning, you are literally going through finding everything and anything that will help your child, because at this stage you're thinking like, they'll need supports, early intervention is important, and you will go and you go into this overdrive where you go over and
What's
beyond,
that thing? Autopilot mode.
autopilot, yeah.
Boom,
And
boom,
you're
boom,
just
boom.
trying to find every single service and everything that will help your child, and you actually don't even stop to think like, okay, I even have to deal with my emotions, I have to, I still have to look after the family. No, it's
Did
all
you get
like,
NDIS
quick,
at this
get him.
point?
No. So we
So
we
yeah.
applied for NDIS because someone told us, but at that stage when we got it, which was what, 5 years ago, it was actually a long wait,
Harder.
because it was about
Yeah.
4 to 6 months wait.
Wow.
So when we did that, we started, my husband's like, I don't care, we're early intervention, we're starting therapy, even if we have to pay for it, and we did. We started paying from our pocket until NDIS got approved, because we didn't want to stop him from getting the supports he needed. Yeah. So no, we started straight away and applied for NDIS, but that didn't come through till later. So
Okay. Yeah. So you've started your allied health services with OT, speech, and did anyone ever say to you, I feel your energy, or I really feel you've been quite overwhelmed, let's access other services to support you, maybe some respite? At what point did you start to realize I need help myself?
So like I said at the beginning, you're in overdrive and you're overwhelmed. Like, you're so focused on your child and getting the supports they need, you don't even think about yourself. And I think the moment I realized I needed help or to speak to someone was when I got to breaking point, when it got too much, when it
Do
was
you feel
overwhelming.
comfortable talking about that?
Yeah, I'm
So
fine.
what's breaking
I've done
point?
it.
Yeah.
So, okay, breaking point was, and I'll explain this one day, and I always speak about this to other people so they know that, you might see me as strong and I have these supports in places for other people now, but I've been through it all as well, and we're all human and we all go through it, and it's not easy. And I always tell people to always seek out for help or support, because it doesn't mean you're weak. It just means that you need that extra support or that listening ear that you can change your life or can be a lifesaver. So I'll explain that. I don't know if this is 1 or 2 years into it after receiving the diagnosis, but it just was too much. I remember this day was full on. I was on my own at home with both boys, and I just remember, I think maybe because I held all my emotions in, and maybe, I was having difficult days with him at this stage, and it just all got too much. And I remember this day where it just got really, really dark for me and gloomy in my head, and I actually started to feel like I can't cope anymore. I actually started to feel really like I can't cope anymore. This is too much. So, when you just keep going and going because you think you have to, I just felt like in my mind, I just felt like this is too hard. I can't do this anymore. I literally can't do this anymore. I started to look for, what I started to do first, and I'll just tell this to others as well in case you do get this from your friends so you know what it means. I started messaging friends and giving hints that I can't go on anymore. And I don't think my friends know this or knew
So
this at this
what
time.
were
But what
they?
I did, so I sent out messages saying, having a really hard day, and just saying that it's just, and I just started saying, so anyone that's ever thinking that they can't go on anymore, or this is too much, or they don't know what to do anymore, when you start getting messages from friends saying, I'm really struggling today, because sometimes we brush it off and we're like, oh yeah, I've had a hard day too, or it's okay, it will pass. just don't ignore these signs, because sometimes it could mean more than just a hard day. So I was
And I
sending
guess
out
if
messages
parents are
going,
ever, and I guess just for people watching, and if everyone's feeling like
yeah,
this, you know, there are services that you can access, like Beyond
100%,
Blue
yeah,
and all of that,
that's right.
because I guess what you internalize continually builds up and up and up all the time, and there's a limit, and our mind does
Yeah,
deflect to lots of negativity and does get quite scary. So I guess when you
it
start to
does.
recognize those alarm bells, try not
Mm.
to see them as it's okay, I'll move on, but rather, gosh, I need to really address this ASAP, for not only for your sake, but for your children.
100%, because they
Yeah.
need you. So I was
Yeah.
so overwhelmed, I
My
couldn't even respond to
grandmother,
them.
my grandmother, God love her, she's told me many years ago, she said, no one's going to raise your children like you raise them, or no one's going to love your children like the same way you love them. So you have to put yourself
100%.
first all the time. And
Yes.
that sticks with me with everything that I do in my life, whether that's my exercise, my social well-being, mental well-being.
Mm,
You have to put yourself first for the benefit
you
of your
do.
children too. Yeah. So keep going.
100%, yeah. So that's how I was feeling, and I just started to throw out hints to friends saying, look, I'm having a really bad day, or I'm struggling. And what happens is, when someone's in that state, they just want someone to pick up on it, instead of you saying, it's too hard to say. Like, I couldn't say that I really feel
Why?
like I can't go on. Because when you're in that state, you just feel like I felt like I was being a whinger. So first of all, people don't
Mm,
even approach people, because they feel like, oh, they're going to feel like I'm
too
a
much.
whinger, or I'm going to sound like a whinger. So I messaged one friend, I messaged another. One of them couldn't respond or didn't have time. The other one didn't really. And I actually felt in a very, very, very dark place. And I knew that I had to do something. I thought, if I don't do something now, this is going to be dangerous. Like, I actually
Mm,
was thinking very, very bad thoughts about myself. So
mm.
what I did is, I actually decided to, I remember there was, the counselling, so Parent New South Wales line. So
Yeah.
it's not autism specific, but there's a Parents New South Wales line. So I called that number. I thought, let me just call them and see if they can help. And this is what I recommend to any mum or parent out there that ever struggles to do, because even if you think it's not going to help, just try. You don't
Mm,
know, because I thought it wasn't going to help me. And I called this number. I was so overwhelmed. I went into a room by myself and left the kids. They were safe. They were nothing, doing nothing wrong. And I basically went into the room, and I just got on the phone and I called Parents New South Wales helpline. And I just sat there, and it's funny, because the lady that picked up, and I asked, is there anyone there that knows about autism, or specifically, not, there was no one. So I wasn't really happy about that, and thought, I'll
yeah.
just talk to him anyway.
Interesting. Yeah.
And this lady or counselor basically was just asking me what's going on and listening to me. And I was actually getting frustrated at this point, thinking, you're not helping me. Like, just ask me what's going on, and me explaining everything is not going to help me. I want you to
Can I
help
ask
me. Like, I need help.
what were your expectations? The fact that she asked those questions and you didn't feel content with
Yeah.
her delivery. As a mum in that rut or in that mind space,
Yeah.
what were you expecting? What did you want someone to tell you or do for you
Mm.
in that moment?
I wanted them to give me solutions, or to help me to say that,
Yeah.
oh, this is what you can do to be better. But I felt like she's just getting me to reiterate, my story. And I'm like, well, how's this going to help me? Little did I know, by the time we got to the end of the conversation, and I literally was just telling her what was going through my mind and what I'm feeling, and she was just there. She was, what's the word? She was basically not just empathizing with me. Yes, she was, but she was also just, probably slowly reframing things without me realizing. And by the end of
Mm,
the conversation, I didn't realize, but I actually felt better. And I was like, this
mm,
worked. This actually
mm,
worked.
mm,
It just got my mind
mm.
into a state where I was, at a good head, space. And I felt better by the end of the call.
Isabel mentioned, I'm going through this at the moment. Now, I know Isabel, I believe her son's been diagnosed. I guess what we can tell Isabel is definitely access those services that you can and just talk about it,
Yes.
and let the emotions come out so you can be guided in a
Yeah.
way that doesn't take you to that dark place. And what was that? Was it the
100%.
parenting helpline you mentioned?
So Parents New South Wales helpline, there are also autism specific
Yeah,
helplines that
yeah.
you can contact. So maybe I can give it to you later. You can add it to
I
the
can share
comments
it.
in
Yeah.
the post. Yeah, share it on the
Yeah.
post. But
Yeah.
there are also autism helplines where, yeah, they can refer you in regards to that. But if you need professional help, even Parents New South Wales helpline, if you Google it, they're great. Just give them a call and it's free. You can speak to them anytime. And I really
Sure.
recommend it because just speaking out your mind, you don't know how much it can make a difference. And by the end of that
Difference.
call, I felt better. So I was able to
Yeah.
go out to my kids and continue on with my day,
Continue.
and yeah, and get out of that
So,
headspace.
so I guess it's like a bittersweet aspect that you went through a very dark side, which made you recognize the limited support out there. And I
Yep.
guess what you said before, I wasn't coping. I wasn't coping. You said that quite a few times, which then
Yeah.
streamed to this wonderful business you've created, Help You Cope.
Yeah.
You haven't got the solution, but you're helping parents in very similar situations figure out how they can cope in the rut of their experience at the moment. So at this stage, what trickled you to start Help You Cope, and how did you start it?
Yeah. So the way it started was I just felt like I needed to do something, whether it was just sharing my story, my son's story. So I just one day thought, let me just start a page sharing our journey, and in case someone comes along and sees it and it might help them feel not alone, you know. So Help You Cope started off as just, you know, like my journey page. It was not a support page. It wasn't anything like that. Now, when I started that was, probably 2019. And
Okay.
when I started that
So
page, like I said, it was
pre-COVID.
just my journey. Yeah, pre-COVID. And when we started, that was just a page, and, you know, and then I thought, you know what, there's not enough support in this area. Let me just reach out, or to make a call out and see if anyone is interested in actually wanting to meet up, because I thought there's no support in the area in Southwest Sydney. I'm based in Fairfield. And so I just did a call out and I just said, you know, if there are any mums, because I would get people to start DM me and talking to me. And I said, is there any mums that are interested in meeting up in the area? So when I put that out, I got a couple of mums that said, yes, I'd be interested. And I thought, okay, let's do it. And I just planned to meet up at the local McDonald's, and I thought somewhere kid friendly, because at this stage, Jessie
Who doesn't
wasn't in
love
school
nuggets?
yet. Right. And the kids do, and there's a playground. So I thought, let's just do this and just, you know, like, just see what happens. I just threw it out there. We started off with three mums came along. And
Are you still in
yeah, and
touch
then
with
I
these mums?
just, yeah, some of them are still coming to
Oh,
this
that's so
group
nice.
till today. Yeah, it is
Oh, that's
beautiful. The
beautiful,
OGs.
Jolene.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I know it was just a few mums, and so what happened was they from word of mouth, this actually grew. So then those mums told people they knew, or other mums, and all of a sudden the group started growing from 3, 5, 10, and today we have 90 mums registered. That,
Wow, good on
yeah,
you.
that,
Yay, congratulations
thanks.
on such a success.
Yeah, no, it's been, and it just shows how much it's needed. Like,
Mm,
there was nothing, no
mm,
support out there, and just putting it out there and saying who wants to just be around like-minded mums that you can get support from, you can learn from.
mm.
And it was just so popular. And all of a sudden, all these mums, and there's mums that come from the city. We have mums come from different
Wow,
areas because there's not enough of
enough
this support.
support. So tell us about this. Is it Sip and Chat that you've got? Is it called Sip and Chat?
Yeah, currently Sip and
Yeah.
Chat. So we started off with Sip and Chat. So Sip and Chat is a support group for predominantly autism carers, but we accept all carers because all carers go through a similar journey, and we know that. And you know, and any support of any, you know, like-minded individual is very, very therapeutic. So so there's Sip and Chat, which is a support group, and we were doing it more often, but it just got hard with time. So now we do it monthly. And we're actually, so that was monthly this year, but we're actually now, we've just launched, and we've done a little sneak peek to everyone. We're launching new services starting from 2024. So
Wow.
we're going to, so we're going to have not only Sip and Chat, which is changed into Sip and Share, because we're sharing information, we're sharing stories.
Mm.
So it's going to be called Sip and Share starting from 2024. We're also adding or starting services for wellbeing programs. We're starting workshops with guest speakers,
So when you say
and also
wellbeing
events.
programs, like self-retreat type of programs, like for mums to look after themselves more, so they could be a better version of themselves?
so these are more day programs because we know that mums, including myself, are very limited with having children at school, have to have pick up, drop off, etc. So these will be very short day programs within the area where mums can come for like 2.5 hours and have that therapeutic wellbeing program, whatever it is. We're going to have different types, and we're going to share more soon with the
It's so exciting.
carers. So it is very exciting because it's needed, and we're able to do this now. So we're going to expand that and provide the supports that mums need. And like I said, we'll still have the support group that's going to happen frequently, and then also the extra programs.
Yeah. Can I just make a comment? Last year or the year before, you won the award through Fairfield Council. Do you want to tell everyone what that was about?
Yes.
Because you deserve to have your recognition address, and you always do this. You never celebrate your success, but I really believe this needs to have definitely more spotlight than what you've done, because you made such a difference to mums. And Joline, you are beyond remarkable. And like you said, you do have a smile on all the time, but sweetie, you've done more than enough, and you're so resilient with it all. So congratulations. But yes, everyone needs to know what you've done, what you've achieved.
Thanks so much. Like I tell everyone, look, I do this because I love it. I don't call it work. Even if I'm up till midnight working on something in the background, it's my passion. So I love it. So any recognition is a bonus, but I do it just because I love it. But some beautiful mothers from our support group actually nominated me for an award for the Citizen of the Year in the Fairfield City Council. And actually I came runner-up. I did not expect it because Help You Cope was only running for like 1.5 to 2 years, and I was actually and I got runner-up. And thank you, Kelly. She's saying you are amazing, you're beautiful. Kelly's an amazing mum that is very supportive of Help You Cope. So I became runner-up of the award. That was so beautiful, and even at the time it was so surreal. I didn't even feel like I won anything because I just couldn't believe it. It was just, I just do it because I love it, and just it was very nice to get recognised, and it actually gave me more,
get recognition.
It is, and it gave me more ammunition to want to help more in the community. So that was lovely.
Well done, congratulations. And again, like you planted the seed, and I just love watching it grow and hearing all your voice messages that you send me with the growth that you're going to encounter. And all I can say is God bless you and continue to give you strength to keep moving, because despite Jesse being nonverbal, I feel he would just say everything to you to show how proud he is of you, and your eldest son too.
Thank you. Yeah, I feel like he has his own way of showing me his love. So he's very affectionate, actually, and he'll sit there, and when I feed him, he just stares into my eyes the whole time I'm feeding him. He does not look away, just stares at me, and I can't look away. And I can see and feel his love. It's like he's speaking to me through his eyes. And that love that he shows me through his eyes is the best. Like, I can't explain that feeling. But it is so beautiful. And he is the reason why I'm doing all this. I've always loved helping people and etc., and supporting people, but just to go down this avenue has been amazing, and it's all thanks to Jesse, and he's just, as it is tough. I'm not going to lie. There are so many tough days, and any carers out there that see.
And you're cooking spaghetti every night.
I know. No, because Jesse loves my homemade spaghetti, and that's all he eats. It's hard. It's tough because, they're very sensory seeking. You're spilling stuff all the time, and I'm always cleaning up, and it's not easy. And there's days where you don't sleep properly. Like the night before last, I barely slept. But you know what? When you find something that you love or you're passionate about, you focus on that, it really does. You wake up every morning, you're happy. Obviously, you love your child, and you can't wait to, support them, even though it's tough. But even focusing on something for yourself, like you said, if you're not taken care of, you cannot take care of your child. So just filling up your cup in whatever way. Yep, that cup you're drinking from. Filling it
this
up.
Cup.
And that really helps. And even if it's just, just being aware of your emotions and feelings and getting that taken care of, that's self-care. That's a form of self-care.
So you've had such a remarkable journey. Like, I guess the negativity of the pediatrician planted the seed for such a brilliant stepping stone for you now. So moving forward, what's the plan for Help You Cope, and how can families access the services, especially if their child's newly diagnosed?
Yes. So due to my experience back in the day when I did get my diagnosis, I really felt like I had a calling to close that gap when someone goes to get a diagnosis from the pediatrician. I've always thought of, what can I do? What can I have? Like, we need a service here that closes that gap, and people know where to go. So as soon as you get a diagnosis, there's nowhere to go at the moment. And that's why I wanted to create Help You Cope. So if people need support in regards to information about where to go to get services or resources, or if they need a support group where they can connect with like-minded mums who can actually support them and help them with information for local services, which a lot of mums have got that information. Myself, I've learned from other mums, so it is huge. Or any wellbeing programs or supports, for the mum to be able to focus and cope with the everyday hardship that can come along with, having that diagnosis. They can
And I
contact
guess you've
us
created that space. You've created that space where there's no judgment. And I guess they feel safe. And when you feel safe and secure, it allows someone to be their true self, right? And just to be as vulnerable as they can. And I guess the concept of vulnerability, people are so afraid to be vulnerable because of the fear of rejection, manipulation,
and judgment.
Humiliation, and judgment. So kudos to you for setting up that environment for people to be their true authentic self, and just come with what they need to, what needs need to be met.
Yeah. And that's what we wanted to do, provide a non-judgmental space. So we have carers that come and they say they can't even, they feel so free once they leave Sip and Chat or our support group, because when even telling your mother or your family or friends, they will never get it like someone that's actually lived through it. Like if someone says that, my little one smears poo all over the walls, or people be like, or my son's broken our TV 5 times because he doesn't understand, or he spills stuff constantly, or we have to hide everything in the house. Our house looks like a bare jail cell. People will be like, you get judgment because people don't get it. But when you've been there and you live it and people tell you that, you say, oh, me too. And they'll be like, oh, really? Like they just feel such a relief that,
presence.
you live that life too. Yeah. So it just really, really helps having that. And people can contact us anytime they like. We have our website's actually launching in the next week or two.
Yeah,
so
I just saw something about that. You were launching a website. Yeah, good.
I'm really excited about that. So we're going to be announcing it soon. Well, I've announced it now, but I've been giving hints here and there. But our services will be launching early next year, but our website's actually launching in a week or two. So if anyone wants to even ask, where can I go?
Even start following Help You Cope on Instagram.
Yeah. We've got Instagram, we've got Facebook, Help You Cope. We also have helpyoucope.com.au. And if you register your email there, it will actually notify you once our website's up and running. And that will have in detail all our services, any upcoming events. So that will be great for people to see instead of trying to keep up with socials. And any information they need there. They can send me a message anytime they need, and I can refer them on to anything that we're doing or any other services that can help them. Happy to do that.
This is so wonderful. Again, congratulations on this empire that you're growing, and I can't wait to see it just grow and blossom. But I just can't wait to see all these parents that have been feeling lost or confused, and they can just refer to your page and just access the services that are much needed and ultimately help their children. We can keep chatting. I know Joline and I we can keep keeping on about NDIS services and so forth. We all have to go get our children from school really soon.
Yes.
But I'll just leave a pitch out for anyone that wants to ask a question to you. I guess there's already one there from Sylvia. How's your son Jesse going at school? Now, you did tell me something that did happen. Did you want to discuss that a little bit?
Do you mean with the school?
With the school, yeah.
Oh, the beginning when we
the beginning.
Yeah. So some people don't know the process because they haven't gotten there yet, and some people have. So for those that haven't, now if your child has special needs and they need to go into a support unit, not mainstream, there is a bit of a process, and it's different to mainstream. So it doesn't matter where you live and where your local school is. Basically, if your child has special needs and needs a support unit, you have to apply through your local school. So what happens is you go to your local school, public school, even if they don't have a support unit, because our public school doesn't have a support support unit in our area. So you still go there, and what happens is you call them up and make an appointment, and through their counsellor, they help you apply through the Department of Education to get your child into a support unit in the area or somewhere. So what happens is you fill out forms and basically ask all these questions about your child, and then what happens is you cannot choose the school that your child goes to.
No.
But what you can do is you can put in preferences. I don't know if it's 1 to 3 preferences, but you can put preferences of what type of support unit you want your child to go into, because there's different types. So there's
why are they leaving it up to you? Shouldn't they have a counsellor or a special teacher to determine that?
Yeah, so they give you an option because parents know their children best, and they give you an option because there's different things. So there's special schools, and then there's support unit in a public school, in a mainstream school, and then there's specific support units classes. So there's autism specific, there's IO, which is developmental delay, and there's mixed classes, there's multi-cat, there's all different. So you can put your preference, but this is not guaranteed. So first of all, you can't choose your school, and second of all, you can't choose what type of class or school they'll go to. It depends on if they have room and if it suits your child and the next available place. That's basically how it runs. And
so where's Jessie now?
So Jessie's now in a support unit. Originally, so we got approved for a school that was, he's going good actually. He loves it. He does his own thing. He loves it and his own way of learning, and they're very supportive, which is great. But he's loving it. Yeah. So but it is we're very lucky actually to get into the school we got into and how we got into it. But we got rejected originally from a local school that we got accepted in. The school said we can't cater for him because he's high needs, because he's still in nappies, has to be fed, etc. Department of Education came back in, had an urgent meeting, asked us what school we want to go to, and we got into another local school that I really was highly fond of. So I was very lucky. But basically, if you're not happy or the school's not happy, the Department of Education can come in and revisit that and have a meeting and see what suits them.
I guess the message that I took from what you were saying there is just continually advocate for your child's needs, even if you feel the school that is available, what other options are there to support your child? The fact, as you said, Jesse needs his nappy change and he needs to be fed. Well, their main needs, and they need to be met.
That's right, yeah. So they have to, if you are very open with them too, so when you fill out the form with the counsellor, I made sure I wrote everything in there, and that's what I had to fall back on. So when the school said, we can't cater for that, I said to the Department of Education, well, you suggested this school for Jessie, and this is what I had said in the form, and this school says they don't cater for that. So you guys stuffed up, and they were very quick to have a meeting within an hour. They got back to me within an hour, found a spot for him.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow.
They see, up. So
advocacy at its best.
Make sure you write everything in that form and you're very open about their needs. Don't think it will deter them from having your child have support, because at the end of the day that, they say they're inclusive, they have to cater for your child's needs.
Demonstrate it. Yeah, absolutely. Anyone else have other questions? I haven't seen any. Marcel, thank you so much for sharing your story. You are absolutely amazing. God bless you and your family. I agree. No one else has made a comment. So before we wrap up, I do this. Do you have anything else that you would like to add to this chat, Joline?
Not really. Just if anyone ever wants to reach out to me or to get support from Parents New South Wales Helpline, please don't ever hesitate, or don't think that your problem isn't big enough, because you're never a whinge or anything like that. People do want to help. So don't ever feel like no one wants to help out there. They do. Especially just voice it out. Be very clear how you're feeling, because you never know how much it can help you.
Absolutely. And any act of kindness or any support is never wasted at the same time. Yeah. So I do this thing after every one with reader chat segment. So every morning I go for a walk and I vlog with my girlfriend, and I talk about words, so vocabulary. To make your day better, what word would you add to your day, or what word would you remove from your day to make it a better day for you? So for me today, my word was, what did I tell my girlfriend? Was sleep. I needed to sleep more because I haven't been feeling very well the last few days. And the other
Yes.
day I said grace, demonstrate lots of grace in the
Mm.
day, because a lot of background things were happening in my life. So I wanted to add that, to be more gracious and to include more sleep in my day.
Mm.
And also sometimes I remove the word expectations, or I remove the word perfectionism out of that day,
Yes,
because we put too much pressure on ourselves. So I pitch this to
we do.
you. What word would you add to your day so tomorrow can be a better day for you? Or what word would you remove from your day?
Um, I would add, I'm thinking sentences. I need to think of a word. Hold
Just
on.
one word.
Um,
It's just one word.
yeah, yeah, I'm just thinking, I think rest. I think even
Yeah.
not just rest physically, even rest
Sleeping.
mind. I feel
Mm.
like I'm always on the go and I constantly have to be thinking about something, planning something, working. I never rest my mind. And I even feel guilty sometimes when I stop to listen to a song to ease my mind instead of something I could be learning, because I
Mm,
love learning. I'm
mm,
always
mm,
working.
mm,
And
mm.
I have this guilt. So maybe guilt, take away guilt and add
Mhm.
rest.
That's so good. So take away guilt, but replace that with rest to help your mental load. And you know
Yes.
what? Listen to that music high up there, because that just puts it all, or
It
puts that
makes you feel
noise,
better.
balances that noise. It makes you definitely feel better. And I'm going to do that
Mm.
now when I'm driving to get the girls. Get the girls.
Yes, I do it on the
But
way home.
Jolene, I'm just so grateful that we crossed paths that many years
Yeah.
ago, and we're still quite close and continually support each other. So thank you for being a guest on Water with Weeda,
Water
Water
with
with
Rita
Weeda
today.
today.
Thanks for
I'm
having
incredibly
me.
proud. I'm so proud of you and everything that you have achieved, and I just can't see the greatness that you will encounter over the next year and watch you blossom and grow. So congratulations, my friend. I adore you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thanks for having me. And I'm really excited about
Pleasure.
what's to come for you, for me, for the carers, for anyone that has a child that has, special needs. You're all amazing mums. I just want you to know that each and every one of you are amazing. Whether you're, all day at home thinking you're not doing anything important, just being that mother, having that mother role is one of the greatest and
Hardest
hardest
job.
jobs out there. And I want
Hmm.
you to know that it's a very important role. Even if you don't work or anything, just being a mum on its own is
Mm,
actually a very important role, and you are doing that important role. And I just want you to know how amazing you are for doing that.
yeah. And just to also add, sometimes dads take on that load too. So
They
not
do,
only mums, but
yes,
also
they help.
dads. Any parent with those difficulties, but mums take on the most of it. But
True.
dads also carry that load. And dads, I'm actually
100%.
interested in
Yeah.
getting a dad on to talk about his experiences with ASD. So
Yeah.
that will happen next year. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
So
that'd
thank
be
you for
nice to
being a
hear.
guest. Yeah, so thank you for being a
Thank
guest.
you.
There'll be one more words with wine with Weeda this year. So
Yeah.
I'll pitch it to the followers to let them pick, just especially because December is a really busy time, and I don't think anyone would
It
have the
is.
time to watch it. It might be a fun segment. Maybe my best friend can come interview me or something.
Yeah, that'd
That
be
would be
good to hear your
interesting.
perspective. Yeah.
See my
Thanks so much,
perspective.
like I said, for
Uh,
having me. Really
my
appreciate it.
pleasure.
And
No, thank you. And I hope this manifests into something bigger and greater for you.
thank you. Appreciate it.
You have a beautiful afternoon, and thank you everyone for watching. The gorgeous Jolene for Help You
Thanks,
Cope.
guys.
Her story is remarkable, and I'm sure if you communicate with her, she'll just sprinkle her magic to you as well.
Happy to help anytime. Thank you so much. Thanks,
No problem. You
everyone.
take care, guys. See
Thanks.
ya. Bye.
Bye.